Hello, Steve here again in sunny Australia, home of the West Green Railway and my alter ego, Manvananian Sivara Subramanian, Station Master West Green, and his dog, Ruby. Well, Ruby's having a kip and Subramanian, he's gone back to Tamil Nadu to his favourite place. He's gone to Ooty. O-O-T-Y, Ooty. It's on the Nilgiri Mountain Railway. It's a place I want to actually go to. Google it, Nilgiri Mountain Railway. Oh, I'd love to go there. Anyway, enough. So this is part 3 of building the Connoisseur J69 kit. If you've been following along, I've got the basic chassis built. Now, this is a legacy kit. There is problems with it, which Jim will point out. They're easy to solve. Nothing but a file can't fix. If this was a 21st century kit, done with all the modern latest CAD programs and whatnot and this that, and the other, then you could have a good reason to tell Jim what a pillar key is. But this is a 19... Listen, when Jim made this, I'll tell you that, I spoke to Jim. He said, Steve, I said, yes, Jim. He said, Steve, he said, when I made this kit in 1991, my telephone was a candlestick one. You know, you picked it up, hello, hello. And it used to, when it rang on the thing, it used to jump up and down like in the cartoons. Sorry, I jest, Jim, I jest. But no, it is a legacy kit. But I've seen the completed kit because my good mate Dan Haines has built one and it runs like an absolute gem. In fact, I said, are you sure it's not made in Switzerland? That's how well it went. Anyway, so without further ado, I'll stop faffing on and we'll get on with it, yeah? So, these pages here address to how to make up the rods and how to overcome the problem. The problem is that the left-hand rods and the right-hand rods are not exactly the same. So Jim tells you how to make up the rods, elongate the hole and move the holes over slightly. Obviously with any chassis, what is absolutely crucial is that the centres of the axle holes are exactly the same as the centres of the rods. Otherwise, doesn't matter what you do, it's going to bind, or not turn at all if it's that bad. So it shows you how to do it. I won't go into too much detail, but they're idiot proof. Make up the left rod. He shows you how to file the hole down slightly so it fits. See the jig axles? Well, I've got these here. I haven't put a centre one in yet, but I should. But the first thing I'm going to do is make up the two sets of rods, and then I can adjust the holes so it fits. That's the plan anyway. What was I going to say? Look, I make these videos because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping people and I get lots of favourable comments. Even to the point where people have said, oh, you've given me confidence to have a go. I'm no great modeller. I'm a bit of a hack. I'm just not. You know, I look at people's work and I think, wow, how do they do that? And even Dan Haines' work, I've seen his work and I think, man, you're a freak. How do you do it, boys? He's just exceptional. But anyway, we struck up a bit of a friendship and from 20,000 kilometres away, get onto him via a messenger and I've met him and we chat, as I do Jim. You know, Jim's a sort of bloke. He said, oh, you better come back and next time we get together, we're going to have a few bevies to get a few pints of real ale. Jim's paying. Don't tell him I told you, okay? No, his kits are great. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. So Jim suggests getting the 3 rods, the 3 laminates, holding them together with alligator clips and putting drills through it. That's one way of doing it. Obviously, it's not the only way. Here's my way. I flogged these off a coat hanger, and I use taper broaches. Obviously, you want it all flush and parallel. Now, with soldering, I will use low melt, and the reason I could use electrical solder. The problem is with electrical solder, it's damned hard and it does a great joint, but if you get it in the flutes, it's hard to get it out. With a softer solder like 145 or 188 or 189, it's easier to scrape out. Flux is phosphoric acid. You can actually, I believe you can use Coca-Cola's flux because it's got phosphoric acid in it. There it is. That's homebrew. I got this from Bunnings here in Australia. This is Bondel Rain-X Rust Buster. It is 33% phosphoric acid. So basically what I did is I thought, if I let it down 2 parts water to 1 part, it will be as good as flux. And this is cheap as chips. Although I went to Britain and chips aren't cheap anymore. Cost you a tenner. Cost me £12 for fish and chips. I remember when it cost 1 and 6. It's old school. Anyway, enough of that. So I'll use this. My iron, I could use a temperature controlled iron, or I could put it on the bench, I could use, what do they call it? Resistance soldering and solder cream. But here is my trade flame, cheap as chips, Bunnings, 100 watt iron. I call it Mother, M-U-V-V-E-R, right? Mother. Something Leroy would use, a hip hop bloke from America. So anyway, enough of that. So basically, because it's got plenty of heat, what I'll do is I'll just tack it in a few places. Tack the other side. Then I can take these off. Then I can slosh plenty of flux on it. Just remember, this is not single malt Scotch whiskey. You can use heaps of it. And then just run it in. It will, capillary action will draw in. Then once it's all done, I can file off, get rid of the tabs. Let's see how we go. The good thing is you can, if you get it wrong, you can just unsolder it. So just put a load of flux on that. Just going to put a couple of tacks on it. Hopefully the iron's warmed up. Just got to hold it, that's all. So once I do that, then I can take the clips off. I could change and put a chisel bit on it. So there you go. You can see I've just put some tacks on it. So what I'm going to do now is, I might take the nibs off now, then flood it with solder and clean it up. So there you go, that's 3 pieces laminated together. I put plenty of flux on, plenty of solder, and it just draws into the joint, and you file it down afterwards. Just a tip, as I said. So as I was saying, that's soldered. You can use electrical solder. The problem, I mean, it gives a great joint, and it's easy to do, but if you get it in the flutes, it's more difficult to get rid of than low melt. The other thing is when you're soldering, solder so this side's down, so that the solder drains away and doesn't go into the flute. I did get some in there. It was, well, you can see a bit. It's easy to get out, but that's one rod completed, and it's very strong. Anyway, that's it. I'll do the other one now. I won't show you how to do it. I don't want to bore you senseless. So I'll tell you what, here's the problem Jim is talking about. What I've done, these jig axles I put in, I put a bit of blue tack, because when you're putting the rods on, you'll find one bearing falls in it. So that's just to secure it. So here's the, I'm doing the left rod as he says. And I noticed that when I put this on here, you can just see the axle, the hole's got to be moved in slightly. So what Jim says to do, find a piece of about 0.3 mil brass. I've got some there. And I'll show you. Best to show you first. So here's what you do. You get that piece of brass there on top of the vise. I've just put this taper brooch in. Now, if I pull this out and pull that out, that's slightly above. So all you've got to do is get a needle file and file down to the top of the vise, and that's moved it a third. Well, that's the plan. Well, that's the finished product. So they're right. Now what I've got to do now is put in the centre one and see if that matches up. I may have to move that slightly, but we'll see how we go. Once I've done this, I'll just do the other side the same. Yeah, it's a bit of mucking around, but at the end of the day, it should be very sweet running loco. So I've put all these rods in, the jig axles in. None of the bearings are soldered. You don't solder those in yet. You'll solder those in with these on so that everything is perfect. That fits well. So as I said, what I did is I put that piece of brass shim on, went in about a third of the mil. This side I just had to open up with a brooch just slightly so it slipped on. What I'm going to do is do the other side now. So I'm one step closer. Steve here, Saturday morning, the 5th of July. And I'm here, just having 2 double shot espressos here. I'm here with Ruby in my pyjamas. Ruby, the station master's dog. Yes, I'm making it dead. Anyway, so I finished this part. I really can't do any more because I'm still waiting. I thought they'd come yesterday, but they didn't. I'm still waiting on the wheels from Slaters. So I think I'll leave that for now, but rather than do nothing, I'll start to turn my attention with working on the body, the tank sides and putting in stuff like that. That'll be my next part. So thanks for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe, and especially a like, and leave a comment if you want. Thank you.